The hardest part about a stream is starting the stream for a number of reasons. One, you might have to handle the fact that OBS will just randomly crash 2-3 times and just not know why, and be okay with that. The second thing is that you have to find a way to start the ball rolling when it comes to having emotional momentum. Once the ball is rolling, it's fine, but until it starts rolling, that monumental task is in fact a monumental task. That said, once you begin, you've got enough momentum, and things tend to go pretty well. And if they still aren't going well, then you can at least say, you know what, I'm not feeling it tonight, and then you can just end stream a little earlier than anticipated. And that's great. The third thing you have to take into account is the outside weather, because the outside weather right now, for me, is a thunderstorm, and that's a bit of a concern these days, given the fact that my power utility is not good about keeping the power on during thunderstorms. So I do apologize in advance if, for some reason, stream crashes for any of the following reasons. I don't intend it. It just sort of happens that way. That's the 3 hardest things about starting a stream in the evening. But we're here with Wind Waker. Wind Waker. So we're going to undeafen in... I don't know if you could hear that. That was thunder. 9, 8, 7... Oh, that's a 5. Oops. 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Oh, I've had better days.
Me too.
That doesn't sound promising.
Well, it's okay, because today we are just living our best lives. I don't know.
That's right, we're going to check on Slovakia.
Yeah, and it's going to be a grand old time in the process. I am trying to figure out why my screen is reading the bottom screen as the top screen, which is really, really quite annoying. There, no, that's, yeah, okay, that's better. Okay, now we're good to go. Now we're good to go. The weather outside in-game is very close to the weather currently I am experiencing in real life. So, this will be good and fun and good. We're on Outset Island. How are you doing? Besides a goodish day. Not so goodish day.
Oh, I'm alright, I suppose. I'm very curious to hear your take on the topic in the discussion channel from earlier.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk about that. I have a good planned discussion for this evening. Or at least I have, like, something that I've thought about a bunch. Because, like, I kind of want to go to MagFest at some point. I've never been to MagFest. And, like, in the time that I've learned about MagFest to the time of, like, actually... being able, over the age of 21, essentially, and then being like, oh, now they let kids go to MagFest. I've just wanted to go to MagFest, so it's kind of weird, but one of the things I think I really struggle with, actually, before I get too much more into this, I should figure out what the heck I'm doing. I'm on Outset Island, and I need to find this pearl, right?
Yes. Well, yes.
I need to be on my boat, I think.
Your objective is correct-ish.
Get in the boat, Slovakia. Yes. We must search the cave around the backside. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Perfect. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. I was right. Okay. So essentially, like, I want to go to MagFest at some point. I think it'd be fun to do. Like, I just haven't been to a con in a while. But I sometimes wonder, like, to what extent... it's really worth going to cons in person these days. Oh, that's a whirlpool. Oh, that's not great. Probably.
Yeah, the story area! I'm sure that's gonna sound all squeaky and echoey on the capture.
It's a little. Let's see. Like, I wonder sometimes, like, how worth it is to go to cons these days, you know? Because, like... there are some people who just make very curious decisions, I think. And, like, you know, it's the excitement of being...
to go with.
It's the excitement of being somewhere, right? Like, and doing something. Because cons are fun. Like, cons are honestly one of the most fun things you can do when you belong to a fandom. You know, like, I totally get the appeal of cons. I've been to plenty of cons myself, more gaming than anime, but, like, I've been to a good amount, right? Like, I would not say that my con-going experience is, like, low. Oh, that was easy. But, like, I had a friend, she went to EVO, she is, like, we went to high school together, she cosplays, she's, like, actually pretty popular these days, you know, for indie cosplaying. But she went to EVO, and she came back with COVID, and it's like, ah, shit. That's not good. Oh, hello. Yes, I am a big fish. Well, meet Jaboon, I am pleased to see that you are... I am the big fish of the cave. This guy's definitely based off, like, of, Link's Awakening design, I feel like. There's a character in Link's Awakening like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you must think my good. He has the courage of the Triforce. Wait, what? Oh no. I'll continue the con thought after this little bit here. Oh, there's the poil. That was the easiest poil we ever got.
Well, don't get used to it.
I bet this is the last poil we're gonna get, because we got Nehru's poil. I gotta get more of these map tiles, too.
You need to get more of a lot of things.
I'm just kind of zooming through. That foul beast Ganon brings the rain.
I love the idea that, like, the boat has no idea what Jaboon is saying.
Yeah, that's fun. I have no idea what that fish just said, but now we have all the pearls. Let's go to the... You must...
Link!
Put them all in the right spot.
We conned that fish into thinking you're some kind of hero.
Wait, you're not? Oh no. Alright. So the wind is currently going this, so let's change the wind's direction.
Yeah, I've only been to one convention, and it was more to meet specific people than it was to actually attend the convention. And
yeah,
I am fortunate that I did not get COVID at it. I'm hoping I don't this year.
Yeah, because, like, you know, COVID, for better or for worse, is not a pandemic in the sense that it's, like, causing more deaths than the average death rate per day in the United States as of, like, a week or two ago, right? Like, at the start of August. Admittedly, I don't know the exact details these days, so maybe I'm wrong. But, like, you know, it's still a thing where if you gather in large public spaces and one person has it, like, you're kind of... you're not setting yourself up for success, let's put it that way. Like, it's just, it's bad. And if you have COVID, or are feeling sick when you're going to a con, you should just not go to a con. Because you're putting everyone at risk. Because no one these days is masking, except for people who know are sick, they are sick, or know someone who is sick, or, like, I wear a mask on an airplane. Because yeah.
I wear masks out in public.
Okay. So you're doing it right then. Because, like, that's important to have that. Because there are just some people who are, like... There was a comic made today, or not today, like a few days ago, where the Final Fantasy XIV Fun Fest in Las Vegas happened, right? And some silly goose went and made a little comic of it. Oh, they made a comic about their experience and how, like, essentially they went and were very excited, but they wanted to share some schadenfreude that they had, you know? And I'm like, okay, let's read this. Let's see what could possibly be the case. What schadenfreude could it possibly be? This is a fish, right? This is our guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
You gotta throw some bait. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how he just kind of jiggles while he wiggles.
Yeah, he's like,
Hey, Smile Fry, well, got the chat information.
Is it really Schadenfreude?
yeah, I think it's
Like-
Schadenfreude.
Like that he was sharing because it was about himself.
Oh, yeah, it's not Schadenfreude. Like, this experience is not Schadenfreude. But, like,
It was stupid. I know that much.
yeah, the comic maker is basically saying, allow me to share some Schadenfreude. It's like, no, this is not Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is other people deriving amusement or pleasure at other people's misfortune. You're not allowed to have self-Schadenfreude. That's not how that works. And so...
That's just called having a humiliation fetish.
I'm not going to say that, but yes. You know, like, I was not going to volunteer that stance, but, like, I agree. Because this person made a comic about how they were really excited to go to the Final Fantasy 14 Fun Fest in Las Vegas, and when they got there, they weren't feeling well the morning of, but they decided, I'm okay with it. I'll just take some Dayquil and go to the entire thing. Like, they went to the keynote address, which was mid, according to them. And then, like, they were, like, not feeling super good. Like, they wore sort of, I think they wore a mask. But, like, you know, I don't know, remember the exact details. I could open it up, but I don't really care to read that right now.
Yeah, they wore a mask. I remember all the details
Okay.
and vivid.
Okay, so they were wearing a mask, you know, like, you know, they were taking precautionary steps, but, like, they felt chills and, like, aches the morning of. Like, I don't know about you. I live in a world where COVID symptoms are very much described and pretty obvious. You know, like, I am aware of what early symptoms of COVID look like, and... Oh, shit. No, hold on. I don't know what button to... Yes, I know. Okay, there we go. And, like, when it comes to those early symptoms, you can be preventative. You can, like, be aware of, like, what it is, because usually they're chills. Like, the number 15 vibes, you know what I'm saying? Burger King foot lettuce. If you get that in your head, you probably have COVID. But...
What?
Oh, do you know chills? Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce.
I'm sorry, all of these references escape me.
Okay, I'll show you it afterward. It's a very, like, it's just a thing that, like, it's dumb. Anyway, the point being...
The point is they knew.
They knew that they recognized symptoms, you know? And, like, they still went to the fucking keynote. And then they ate in public indoors, and that was when they realized, like, oh shit, the Dayquil's wearing off. And they went back to their hotel room and were, like, in misery. And it's like, then they got, like, a COVID test later, but, like, you know, long enough to where they definitely infected plenty of people. And it's like, you are being so selfish. How can I remotely feel confident about, like, going anywhere to a convention when there are people like that who just, like, are not willing to put other people's, like, well-being in their minds, to the point where, like, they'll go to the keynote speaker address despite having, like, obvious COVID symptoms, and then, like, talk about it, being like, haha, whoopsies, I had the COVID, I was patient zero of COVID at the fan fest. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? That is the most dumb thing I have ever seen get posted in this form of, like, a comic, you know? Like, please...
And then, yeah, and not only was it done in the form of a comic, they put it on Twitter.
Right, so, like, they wanted people to see it. And, like, it's art, so I guess, you know, when there's art to be had, there's art to be had. But, like, is this something you want to advertise, that you were patient zero at a Final Fantasy 14 Fun Fest? An entire thing devoted to, like, you know, people trying to be responsible and be fun in a relatively post-COVID world. Like,
now,
you are so stupid.
Now, for the record, I 100% agree with you. I am completely of the same mind. But for the sake of the stream entertainment, let's play devil's advocate for a moment.
Fair. I will allow this. I will.
They will argue, well, there's no way to tell that I'm the one who gave it to other people.
It doesn't matter. You had it. Some people don't have it. You had it. You know, like...
Oh, but you can't catch it that quickly, right?
It's transmissible. It's like one of the most transmissible viruses that has existed in the modern age.
But I'm contributing to the herd immunity.
That is not going to happen at a Final Fantasy XIV Fun Fest day. That is not how any of this works.
I don't know, there's a lot of Final Fantasy XIV fans.
Look, I know that there's a lot of Final Fantasy XIV fans. I'm friends with a lot of them. And I'm just saying...
I'd say there's more Final Fantasy XIV fans than there are people.
Yeah, true. A lot of those fans aren't people.
No, I'm just being silly. I know that they had no justifiable excuse.
No, I totally get it.
Completely agree.
Like, my biggest issue with it is just the fact that it's just so, like... It's not even the thought of, like, oh crap, I see on the internet that there's a lot of, like, people coming down with COVID from this event. I sure hope I didn't give it to them. Like, that thought does not have to even seem to cross their mind. And, like, on the one hand, I don't want to...
That would be an appropriate way to feel. That would be, like, the guilt of that would be an appropriate way to feel.
Right. It's like, you didn't even think to, like, that your actions have consequences. And, like, I don't want to encourage, if this is something that this person is into, like, honestly, shame on them. Like, shame on them for deriving pleasure from, you know, people actually being rightfully upset about giving everyone COVID. And if it's not, then, like, what went through your brain that made you feel like this was something that was not only appropriate to post, but was worth posting?
And, I mean, okay, if they thought the keynote was mid, then they clearly don't have a brain.
Why was the keynote not mid?
The keynote was awesome! We got to see Dawn Trail revealed.
Then, like, yeah, okay, I believe it. Like, it just is weird to me, and it depresses me. It honestly is, like, depressing as a person. You know?
Was it someone that stupid?
Yeah, that
and
like
selfish?
Well, it's someone selfish and stupid that has like really made me think about like I like cons. I like going to cons. Cons are really fun, but I don't want to go to cons when like that is what is at stake. Like potentially getting COVID from a dipshit who is just like, "Oh, today I will go to the keynote while I have COVID symptoms." It's like, I understand that there's a sunk cost fallacy in play here. I get it. You don't want to feel like you've wasted money. But, like, sometimes life is absurd and unfair. And the best you can do in those circumstances is just not give people COVID!
And, like, okay, I could have at least had a bit of empathy for them if it had been like they were there for the first day.
Yes.
And then started realizing they had symptoms. Like, okay, that is something that could reasonably happen, and then you don't know what to do.
Right.
Because, like, then you're in the thick of it, you've already exposed people, and you didn't know you had exposed people. That's a more logical conclusion. But no, they woke up the morning of!
Yeah, like, they definitely got it from someone on an airplane, right? Like, that's the only way that makes sense to me, right? And the way that I see this, like, this sort of reinforces my view on, like, taking airplanes these days. I am not riding on an airplane ever again without a mask. You know, like, I'm just not gonna do it. Because it doesn't make... Oh, yahaha, hello. Like, I'm just not gonna get on an airplane without a mask at this point. Like, I'm not even gonna go to airports without masks at this point.
I've never gotten on an airplane without a mask, even long before COVID.
That honestly,
I love flying, but you don't want to do it unprotected. I used to wear gloves on an airplane.
So they don't let you wear any kind of, like, latex gloves on airplanes?
No.
What?
Well, I don't know about all airplanes. The flights I have attempted to wear them on
That is
did not allow
wild
it.
to me.
But that was a long time ago. It's probably changed since then.
Also fair. It might be like 9/11 policies. But yeah, Sheeb, that
Yeah.
bothers me so much. I know people who go out without a care in the world and after coming in contact with a sick person, it's like, do you not care other people at all? The thing is, like, with regards to where we are in the world, like, people are not wearing masks most of the time unless they know someone who is sick. Or are generally, like, concerned about that. And, like, I have all the respect for people who do that. Like, that's great. Like, that's good. I'm not going to chastise you. I support and I believe in that practice as well. But the vast majority of people are not wearing masks anymore. At least from my humble perspective. And from my experience.
I don't see them very often anymore.
And it's just like, you know, if I go to a con, I'm going to have to wear a mask. Because, like, I just don't trust people. It's hard to trust people anymore. It sucks.
How
but,
can
like,
you trust people? People are the worst.
You know, I like to assume the best in people, but sometimes it's not good. If someone tells me they have COVID, or if I'm sick, I'm wearing a mask. Exactly. Like, there is literally nothing, like, preventing you from doing so. What is this? Interesting. Do I, like, break
Oh, I
all
love
of
this
these?
puzzle. I mean, do you want me to answer it?
I don't think I have to do exactly like this, but it could be neat. Wow, I got some range on this boy. Let's check this out. Let's see.
I love the cannon.
The cannon seems
I feel
really
like
good.
this is like the only Zelda game where your mode of transportation is very deliberately a weapon.
Yes.
And that's like, I mean, they kind of dabbled with it for one segment in Skyward Sword.
Where the bird does
but-
things.
Yeah. But overall, your bird is there to make your arm hurt.
Yeah. Do you have to hold your arm out the whole time you're flying the bird?
Well, on the Switch version, no. On the Wii U version, you had to flap your arm.
What? Yeah.
But yeah, you had to swing the remote up to make the bird's arm, wings go up, and then you thrust the remote down to make it flap its wings down. And flapping them down is what gave you lift.
That's so ridiculous.
And so you had. It was really neat the first few times you did it,
But I
and then you're
imagine
like, oh.
that, and with like an empty sky, you know.
I didn't really feel the sky was that empty. You have to understand, a lot of people that are claiming it has an empty sky now have things like Breath of the Wild to compare it to.
Yes, that's true.
And when Skyward Sword came out, that wasn't around. It was 2011. Like,
Right.
Even before Breath of the Wild, we got a lot of things shortly after that to really compare Skyward Sword Sky to.
Yes.
And I didn't really feel it was empty, and like it wasn't really that much more empty than the ocean in Wind Waker, in my opinion.
Kill all the bats. All the bats will die.
I like Skyward Sword. I acknowledge that it sucked. I acknowledge that it had many, many, many flaws. But I don't know. I still loved it.
Nice.
It's like an X that you think you can fix.
You can't fix them. You can't fix your
Nope.
ex no matter what.
Can't fix your X, but when you play Baldur's Gate, you'll try to.
Oh shit. Oh fuck. You made your ex in Baldur's Gate?
I haven't played Baldur's Gate. I've just seen a lot of I can fix her memes.
I can fix her. Yeah, I have not played Baldur's Gate either. I guess, like, personally, it doesn't really appeal to me at the moment. I mean, it seems really cool, but, like, it's just not, like, immediately at my front and center, like, I must play this game vibe, you know what I mean?
I really, really want to, but I'm holding off because I have enough on my plate right now. I have Relics to grind in 14. I have Sea of Stars about to come out, and I've been looking forward forever.
So
I have Mario RPG remake.
Hell yeah.
Mario Wonder, and then yeah, I have so much to do right now, and then there will be the Elden Ring DLC, and God knows that's gonna suck me up again.
Yeah.
And so,
I feel that. Like, I am definitely in that space of, like, there's a lot of games that I want to play and, like, take care of, and, like, I just finished a couple things that, like, I've done, or I've been with for a while, you know? Like, we finished Succession a little bit ago, which was excellent. And then, is there anything on there? No. Oh, wow, that's a big swell. And then, like, I finished Gates to Infinity. Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity is done. I don't have to play that game anymore, luckily. And it's like, you know, I think I know what I'm playing next after Gates to Infinity. Oh, there's that fish. It's just sort of like, you know, Baldur's Gate is not hopping the line, if that makes sense, you know?
mostly avoiding Baldur's Gate because I know I'll enjoy it.
Fair.
How weird is that?
It's not too weird. I mean, like, I get it. I get it completely, because I've definitely, like, not played a game because I knew it would distract me. Like, I 100% did not play Breath of the Wild in undergrad because I knew that I would sink hours into it and I needed to do school, you know? Like, as much as I would have loved to.
But now we're getting into a point with gaming where if you don't play things when they come out, you may never get to play them because they'll be yanked off a storefront.
That's fucking bullshit, too. You might as well pirate things. I can talk about
that's not even that's not even an option anymore for some things.
I know. That's why I'm a firm
I think
believer.
live service games are the dumbest thing to ever be created.
I agree. That's why, like, I get what I can. And there are just some games that, like, they aren't interesting to me, and, like, I'm never going to play them. And, like, it's kind of depressing, it's kind of not, it's kind of just like, fuck, you know? There's so much of this medium that, like, is just not being saved. And it depresses me. Because, like, films get saved, music gets saved, books get saved, but video games are not there yet. And we are able to buy about 13% of all the video games ever made. 13% of those games are commercially available right now.
And even if you can obtain them, that doesn't mean you can perpetually play them.
Right. That's what's fucked. And so you just have to accept the fact that, like, you know, you want to play this game that had a limited release on a